Hello, all, and welcome to VJ for Sportswire, renamed and rebranded to Sportswire now. We've got um, plenty of content lined up, and this is a pre-match show for the Chelsea versus Manchester United that is about to happen in this week Sunday. So we're gonna go through the lineups, probably the players who will be available for this game, both we'll talk about both Chelsea and Manchester United for this particular fixture. And we've got a special guest today as well. We've got CFCGem from the GNA TV coming in for um, an informative session with us. This is the first time that I'm going to have him on the channel, so it is going to be interesting and informative. I've got a lot of questions that I have to probably ask Jem, so I'm eagerly waiting for Jem to join the stream. I hope you guys as well would be equally excited for your questions to be posted to Jem. So just wanted to talk to you guys before Jem joins about the previous game that we had, which is Chelsea versus Juventus. A complete dominating performance from Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Yes, we did lose the last game against Juventus when we went to the old ladies' home ground. But then we did not make any such error yesterday. A completely dominating performance from Chelsea football team. Tuchel has now transformed this team into another level, completely another level now. And I'm happy to be a part of this journey with Chelsea Football Club. I hope you guys as well feel the same way. Having said that, out of the 4 goals that were scored in the game against Juventus, 3 were from Cobham graduates, which is a good sight to watch because we've got one of the best academy in the world. So that's really that's really helpful for the youngsters to come into the fray and perform for a club like Chelsea. So all in all, a very good day of football for the Chelsea fans. Stamford Bridge was looking amazing on that particular day when Chelsea defeated Juventus 4-0. One of the heaviest defeat for the Italian Giants. And I'm glad that Chelsea was the club to do that. Alvaro Morata was part of the squad. He did have one close shot, which was put out by Thiago Silva. His amazing defense towards the end ensured that they did not have a sniff at the goal. So very good performance from Chelsea, both on the defensive and the attacking front. I'm really happy and I'm excited for the Manchester United game. Manchester United, on the other hand, played a couple of hours back on the same day. They played against Villarreal. They played in their home pitch as well. Manchester United, Old Trafford is where they played that particular game, and they did a splendid job. Um, just a second. All right, I was just inviting Jem into the stream. So, yeah, he is going to be featuring in the show in a couple of minutes. It's going to be an amazing discussion with Jem as well. One of the, advantages of being in a YouTube community is that you get to talk to a lot of people who are like-minded. Of course, he is from the UK and I'm from India, so it's not easy for us to probably talk to face, but we ensure that we keep in touch through Discord, all these channels. So it's always been a pleasure to talk with Gem. Anyways, getting back to the game, while Gem joins, getting back to the Juventus game. One thing that I was admiring about the performance was Reece James, the way that he performed from the assist and from the forward runs that he was able to make, and his clean strike of the ball. That's something that I really appreciate, and I haven't seen a lot of people doing that. Post Drogba and Lampard. So that's an amazing thing that we're witnessing at this point in time. A perfect defender who can also contribute in terms of attacking in the attacking front. He is a wing back, and he plays very good in terms of attack and defense, and that's always an added advantage. So Reece James, I was really happy with his performance. Hakeem Ziyech as well. Yeah, he did miss a few chances, but then he slowly, got back into the game and started performing, combining with Pulisic properly, and also with Reece James at times. So all in all, a good performance for Hakeem Ziyech as well. I believe he got an assist as well. Um, and our own Chalaba. I mean, he's come into the Chelsea picture after the preseason, that where he impressed Thomas Tuchel, and Tuchel then wanted Chalaba in the squad, and he was also provided a contract extension, and now he is part of the Chelsea first team squad. Of course, his brother Nathaniel missed out on the Chelsea opportunity, but then young Chalaba did not, and he is now part of the Chelsea first team squad, and he's performing amazing. Not just in terms of the defensive work, but also the way that he moves forward, contributes with the attack, plays. Combines for the link-up plays with Jorginho and Kante. He's been one of those um, defenders who comes into the box for corners and can contribute in terms of goal contribution. Now that is exactly what he did in the previous game as well. Both Rudiger and Chalaba was there, for receiving that cross, and then Rudiger caught it in his hands. There was an argument that it could be called for a handball, but then it wasn't at the end. So we move on, and we've we've got the goal as well. So Chalaba was the first one to break the deadlock at that point in time. So Chalaba had a goal contribution. His third goal is, I believe, in all competitions. He had a Premier League debut goal, which we all remember. Post that, he had another goal, and now this is the third goal in the number of games that he's played. So Chalaba, amazing performance, amazing work rate, good work ethics, hardworking lad. So I'm happy with the way that Chalaba is performing in this season, and that gives us a bit of breathing space, because we lost Zuma towards the end of the last transfer window, and we were searching for defenders, and thankfully Chalaba was there to help us and provide a reprieve, and ensure that he was part of the Chelsea backline. Now Thiago Silva continuously playing most of the games. I did not expect Thiago Silva to be performing at the speed that he is performing right now. So he's been one of those players who is quite quick, and also can read the game better than most of the people around. So he is one of those people who we can rely on to ensure that the defense is properly managed. So I'm really happy with how Thiago Silva has led our defensive line, and um, so Thiago Silva probably is the man of the match for me yesterday for his goal line contribution. For his goal line clearance, and also the way that he performed. Of course, there are tough contenders. We've got Rudiger, Chalaba, and everyone who equally contributed, and were amazing on that day. Werner as well came in at the 65th minute or so and got in a goal for himself in the last minute. So good performance there as well. So we will be joined by Gem in the next 20 minutes. Um, so before that, I'd like to talk about the other teams as well who played the Champions League game. I was actually watching the Manchester United game that was happening at Old Trafford. Villarreal dominated the first half. Actually, I thought maybe Villarreal is going to get their first goal. I expected Villarreal to get the first goal, but then Manchester United after the second half, I don't know what Michael Carrick told to them on the second half, but Michael Carrick was able to, tell something that probably stimulated the performance of Manchester United in the second half in Champions League. So Villarreal performed good in the first half, but then Manchester United came back strong, and the way that they performed, I really liked the way that they performed on that particular day. So Manchester United 2-0 was the scoreline. I mean, not a very convincing performance, but then they too had their moments and they too ensured that they got the victory. So it is going to be a difficult game to in the weekend. We'll definitely discuss and deep dive into the specifics, of course. But at this point in time, I also wanted to talk about Manchester City and Liverpool, who had their respective games. Liverpool had a game against. Who did they have a game against? Okay, let me recollect that. But yeah, let's go to the Manchester City game. Manchester City, of course, the big match yesterday, which was against Paris Saint-Germain. Paris were shambolic, to be honest. I mean, I guess this game was also played in Manchester. Pochettino ensured that the defense was solid, and I'm going to give credit to that particular aspect of the game. He did ensure that the defense was solid, and they were marking everything properly, from getting the offside done properly, and also ensuring the Manchester City players are not penetrating their defense. The defense was solid, led by Marquinhos, but they did miss out on something, which is the front three. The front three was absolutely, I don't know if they were really tired from their previous performance, or is this how they usually perform, because I've not been watching or closely tracking PSG's performance, but the way that they played on against Manchester City, the front three was very, very slow. Starting from Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, yeah, they had their moments. Even the first goal was scored by PSG players. So it was, it was looking good on that one particular attack as well. They combined well, and they were able to provide. They were able to get that goal. I agree to all of that, but it was almost a shoulder-dropping performance from PSG front three. The defense put in so much of effort, but I don't think so the attacking side of the team did justice to whatever the defense was trying to do for the game. Manchester City, on the other hand, they were quite attacking the way that we are used to seeing Manchester City. So I really like the way that Manchester City played as well. So um, it was a good game for Manchester City. Initially, the way that they reacted or responded to the PSG first goal was superb, was actually amazing. So they came back strong and they got both the goals. Once the first goal was scored, immediately Gabriel Jesus was brought in by Pep Guardiola, he did not waste any time. He immediately turned towards Gabriel Jesus, who is their predominant attacking option. And with his experience and pace, he was able to penetrate the Manchester City's defense, and they ensured. He even ensured that he got his goal, which was the second goal for Manchester City, ensuring that Manchester City finished the game 2-1 and got all the 3 points out of the game. We've got Kasim saying, big up, please, people, like and subscribe. Thank you, Kasim. Thank you for your support. Of course, Kasim has been you know, um, one of my stream mate. We've done a lot of streams in GNA TV together. So, Kasim, thank you for joining the stream. We'll of course have Gem directly in this channel. So I'm really excited about having Gem in the channel, because we almost talk every single day in the in the panel, but we've never brought him into this Sportswire channel. So it is absolutely going to be exciting for me talking to Gem one on one, because whenever I talk to Gem, it's more of like 5-6 people on the panel talking all combined together. So it's going to be a one-on-one conversation. A lot of interesting topics lined up for this particular session. Not just the Manchester United Chelsea game, but of course about the other games in Premier League as well. We'll make sure that this covers extensively across the big six teams. Tottenham, on the other hand, as well, they've got Antonio Kante now, and they started with a very good victory, 2-1. Even that particular victory was kind of interesting in the way that they built up for the game, because they started with the opposition scored the first goal. Let me check who the opposition was. If my memory serves right, it was one of the top teams actually. Last week, yeah, they played against Leeds, correct? So they also ensured that. I mean, the first goal was, of course, from Leeds United, and Antonio Conte. I don't know what he said in the halftime, but then when they came out of the halftime, Spurs were obviously a different team altogether. The way that Reguilon performed that particular game, as well, Harry Kane for the first time knew exactly where he was supposed to be, and I'm really happy about it, because I've been watching Tottenham game every single week, and every time the disappointment that I have with Harry Kane is that he keeps going out of position, trying to contribute to the defense, which probably might not be something that you would want to see from your top striker, but he keeps doing that. Anyways, at this point in time, at least, maybe Antonio Conte coming in has changed the scenario for Harry Kane, and now he's probably in the right place at the right time. And otherwise, Son as well performed decently in that particular game. They had Højbjerg with the first goal, actually. Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, a beautiful strike, the first goal. So all in all, Tottenham as well is looking a revived side, so we could expect a good game this week. I believe Tottenham is playing against Everton. Let me check who they're playing against. But so Tottenham is another team that we have to watch out for. Leicester as well. I mean, they had a 3-0 loss against Chelsea, but let's be honest, it's Chelsea, so we did not anyways expect to win against us. But Brendan Rodgers have to get his things sorted in terms of the defensive options that he has. Of course, he did miss Fafan in the start of the season, which was kind of unexpected for him. But that's never an excuse for an entire season. So they obviously have to pick up pace, and they have to score points. This is like 12th position that they're currently in. So Leicester City will have to obviously get into the top 10 at least. I mean, they are one of the teams that we're looking for in the season, at the start of the season, at least the top 4 or a top 6. But then the current position from them is not the right place where they would like to be. So Brendan Rodgers has to get certain things right in the team. We've got Gem on the live as well. A bit early to start, bro. I'm not due on another hour plus. All right. Okay. I guess I got the timing wrong then. Okay. Another hour. I thought it was 20 minutes. Oh, okay, so Jem says he'll come in 10 minutes. I mean, I've got the timing wrong, I believe. I mean, so I'm from the IST time zone. I thought it was like the 4.5 hours because usually that is how the matches is scheduled. So I thought, it's probably 4.5 hours, and I was, probably ready for that. But I guess I calculated it wrong. 7 plus 4.5 is like 11:30. Did I miss something? I don't know. Anyways, I guess it's 5.5 hours then. Jem, apologies. I think we are expecting you before the scheduled time. My bad. Hopefully, it isn't a constraint for you. But meanwhile, before Jem joins, I also wanted to cover a couple of other teams. Of course, when we're talking about the Big Six, how do we exclude, a team like Liverpool? Of course, right? So Liverpool. Liverpool as well performed really good in the midweek. I mean, the way that they perform, the top three seems to be knowing exactly what they're trying to do. Like even if it is being replaced by Firmino, being replaced by Minamino, and then they have Salah and Mane who consistent in both the wings. They've been performing, splendidly, and I like the way that they're performing. If I'm to be honest, the front three is looking lethal, but also the only concern that they probably will have, which would stop them from, getting a Premier League trophy or a Champions League trophy. I still think that they can possibly do that, but if at all there is something that is stopping them, it would be the squad depth. I still think the squad depth could have been better for Liverpool to compete in all these competitions. So that could be a concerning point. But either way, Liverpool, the way that they're performing at this point in time, I'd say that they are in strong contention for the title. The first place is not as easy as it is. So at this point in time, yes, of course, Chelsea are on the top, but this is more of a three-horse race. So Chelsea, Manchester City, and Liverpool are the three horses that you can expect to be providing a tough competition towards the end. So Premier League this season is more exciting than ever because of the way the teams have been able to spend or invest in the club. The owners have been able to invest properly in the club. We all know how Roman Abramovich invests in the club. Of course, the same goes for Liverpool as well. Not as as great as that of Chelsea, but then they're still managing to invest FSG, and on the other hand, we all know how rich the Man City owners are. So that's happening good for them. So it is going to be a top three. I mean, for the first place, that it's going to be a three-horse race, and then there is another separate battle that is happening for the fourth spot, ranging from Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester City, Manchester United, and all these people. So it's going to be exciting, and we've got CFCGem on the stream. So I'm going to pull him in. This is the first time. Hey, Jem, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good, all good. I guess I got the timing wrong. 7 p.m., right? You called for the 7 p.m. UK. So I thought.
Yeah, 7 p.m. UK. That's why I said 7 p.m. UK.
I think that it's 4.5 hours for us in the IST time zone. So I calculated for 11:30 Indian Standard Time. So I guess I kind of missed somewhere. Is it 4.5 hours or 5.5? I thought it's 4.5.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But to be honest, I thought it was because 7. What's the time where you are? Because when I said 7 p.m. UK, you said 11:30 your time, didn't you? I was saying
exactly, and now it is 11:24. Yeah. So I basically thought of coming in
you've mixed
half an
it
hour.
from an hour. Oh right, okay, yeah, it happens.
Yeah, so
don't worry.
I started at 11 because I thought half an hour late I'll bring you in. So that's the reason I started, at 11 o'clock. But then now it is like when you said 1 hour, I was like, oh my God, did I miscalculate?
Right, it does me a favor because I've got to go out after anyway. So a little bit earlier works better for me anyway right now. So
perfect. Then you're in the right time. Then thank you, Jem, first of all, for accepting my invite and joining the stream. Of course, this is like a stream that you're used to having plenty of people talking in the chat because this is one of like the smallest channel it's been compared to the channel that you're coming from, GNA TV. Of course, guys, if at all you're not subscribed, which is highly unlikely, but if you're not subscribed to GNA TV, just go ahead and subscribe to Gem, one of the top content creators for Chelsea community. He's a regular, member in the Football Terrace panel as well. He does a lot of live stream, of course, an open panel most of the time where people from all the works in who are just connected by one point, which is Chelsea, come and have discussion. It's always been a pleasant journey with
Thanks
GNA
for having me,
TV for
mate.
me.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. It's nice. It's been a long time, so it's nice for me not to actually have to host. I'm so used to hosting a lot of the time. So when I'm actually sitting and not
Yeah, for a change,
I'm
I'm doing that for you this time.
Yeah, it's a change. It's like a little break for me, So it's nice. It's nice. Can't complain.
Makes sense. So the agenda for today is probably, Jem, we'll just run through certain aspects of Chelsea and then talk about Manchester United game that we have in the weekend, and also just touch up on certain points around Premier League. So like it's 11:26, which is like what's your time now? At least I'll get it right now this time.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
so 1 hour from now.
Yeah, 1 hour from now. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
Perfect. So 1 hour from now is what we'll target. Like we'll try to cover everything, every single thing within that hour. If that is all right with you, Jem. So
no worries.
if you want to like leave early, just let me know as well. We
can, no problem, mate.
Work it out accordingly.
That's fine.
All right. So okay, let's get started. Jem, first of all, I just wanted to talk to you, just try and understand from you before we get into all this Chelsea and the news aspect of things. Just let me know about GNA TV in general. Just let the new viewers know about GNA TV in general, how the channel started and how is the growth, and what is your next plans and everything.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. That would be the first thing I'd like to say. It's nice to actually come on other people's channels. I'm always here to support whoever asked me to, providing I know you, and obviously you're a big supporter of GNA TV. So like I said, if you're part of our community, then, everyone that's a part of our, of the GNA community will support others as well that are panelists of GNA. So your class as a panelist, so it's nice to have you in there as well. So look, VJ, it started when I was at the Football Terrace, really. I remember when COVID first kicked in 2 years ago. And I was on YouTube and I was looking around, and when you're sitting at home, you couldn't go out. We was on a full lockdown. I was like, what do I do? And obviously I saw Terry, and I kind of was intrigued in the whole show, him allowing viewers to come on, have their say and things like that. And big up to the Football Terrace, because it's one of the only channels out there that allows people to have their say massively. And there's not many big channels that do that anymore. Since that, I went on there a couple times to start with, and then it just sort of took off because Terry asked me to be a part of the Football Terrace group, the Football Terrace panel, and from then onwards, we've done 8-9 months to a year solid streaming on Football Terrace every day, different shows. This was before, obviously, he was bought out by a bigger market and stuff. Now he's a lot more thingy, but even now, I'm still in that same group. I just haven't had the time to go into it. I have a lot of time for Terry because he gave us the opportunity to do this, and then as I was going along, I was going on other people's channels. I was jumping on a mixture of channels, honestly. And I started meeting new people. And one of the people that I met was Ads. And I know you don't see him a lot, but we have got someone that does a lot of our, helps with the thumbnails and is a big supporter of GNA TV in the background as well. So he was like, look, I'm looking to push my channel up, but I want someone to do it with. And I was thinking maybe doing it with you. And if you go back to GNA TV right at the beginning, you'll see for a solid 8 months, there was just loads of streams that involved not only Chelsea, but Man United debates as well. It was a bit of a mixture. When we first started, our aim was to try and have a bigger image of the game. So it wasn't just Chelsea based or Man United based. It was Chelsea, Man United mainly, but then on Arsenal's, the Tottenham's and everyone else. And we used to bring different panelists in and whatever. And we went on along for like that. And then after a while, I just sort of kicked on with it. I know he had a lot of stuff going on in his personal life, and I had the opportunity to try and push the channel more, and that's what I did. I concentrated on the Chelsea stuff, pushed out the Chelsea stuff as much as possible, and it just went mad. It started growing. We got to the transfer. Obviously, we got to the summer window, and that's when I think I met you as well. Obviously, I don't know how you found GNA TV originally, because a lot of the times people find us through recommendations on YouTube as we're growing slowly. And obviously, once you get to the 1,000 mark with YouTube, you become a part of their program. So they start obviously pushing you out more to try and promote you, which does help. But yeah, I remember doing them transfer shows and they were mad. I remember doing like 4Ks and then 8Ks and then thing. And I was like, I was gone from doing like 500 views or 600 views to now doing like 3K, 5K, 10K. And the subs were just going mad. The subscribers were just took off. And yeah, since that day, it's nice because the one thing I love about the GNA community is that you get the same faces. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got your community, like the same people always turn up. And it's not that the others ain't invited because everyone's invited to the channel. But it's just when you've got that base, it makes it a lot easier to stream because you have that, the individuals that are always there to support the channel. And we're forever growing. We're growing at a rapid speed. We're doing more views than a lot of the biggest Chelsea channels out there at the moment as well. So, we're doing good where we're at, and we'll take it step by step. We will hopefully one day get to 10K. I really hope we do as a channel, but it's going in the right direction. So I just try and give viewers what they that what they want, the content, the show, and the most important thing is, even though I do the talking at the beginning, because obviously I like expressing myself and it gives me the opportunity to do that. I also like having everyone else on. You see how open I am to everyone coming on and throwing everyone in, and I want to hear everyone's opinions and thoughts, and that's what it's about. It's about us all sitting, agreeing, disagreeing, bringing out some criticism of each other. And the one most important thing is we all support the same team. We all want the best, and yeah, it just really kicked on from there. And up to this day, I am, like I said, I try and be committed by giving you the stream once a day. A lot of people do not do that, especially on YouTube anymore. I try and be consistent, and even if it's not even if there's not much to talk about, I still try and make something. If it's a debate show, you must have seen it. If it's a talk show, answer show, I try and give us something to sort of take our minds off international breaks and things like that. So I would like to think that I'm doing a good thing, because a lot of people that come in, and I can see, really appreciate the channel. Like it's like you've done something for them in many ways, and I hope that's all I can do. Really, I just want to help people let time sort of tick along quicker and get involved if they want to get on the chat as well. So yeah, it's a good little space for me as well to have a chat.
Perfect. I mean, I like the way that you summarized this. We all know what GNA TV is about in terms of the content, like Chelsea, talking about people in the Chelsea Football Club. We've all known that. But knowing about the channel and its history, it's something that is different. I haven't heard this before, so it's always nice to hear this sort of a detailed explanation from the owner of the channel itself. So, Jem, good job first of all. Congrats for the way that the channel is being run. Of course, it is a successful channel. I mean, just 2 years and it's already I guess it's 3.2 subscribers at this point in time. Yeah, it's 1 year, so the growth has been phenomenal, and that's probably because the content that you're pushing forward. So, absolutely amazing, and I kind of also take a lot of positives from you. The way that I've created this channel as well has been always an open forum where people can come in and have their say. It's just that there are not a lot of people watching at this point in time, so I cannot bring in a lot of people to come in and have say. But it's always an open forum. That's how I'd like that to be, because I personally, from a viewer standpoint, I like to talk to people. I like to talk to new people and have an open mind conversation with them. So since that is something that intrigues me, I like to do the same as well, like whatever you're doing. So absolutely amazing, and it's very it's a happy moment for me to have you in the stream. So having said that, we'll now jump into the actual content that people have been waiting for. First of all, what do you think about the performance that Chelsea had like a couple of days back? 4-0. I mean, I was thinking, I was actually telling you it's going to be a 1-0. 4-0. It's not a simple scoreline. I mean, 4-0 is fine against Norwich, Burnley, and all these teams, but 4-0 against the Italian champions Juventus, you don't get that often, do you? What do you think about the performance? Complete domination.
Yeah, it was a performance of two halves for me. Even I think the one thing I would say is we was always in big up to Bex, big supporter of the channel and on Discord, as well, VJ. So it's nice to see her. And she subscribed as well. Big up to her. Nice to see.
Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, look, it was a game that we dominated in terms of controlled. I think we controlled both halves very well. The difference for me for the first to the second was that in the first half, the forward line for me wasn't doing enough. It just wasn't enough movement. There wasn't enough creativity. I think Cho did here and there, but we really struggled to get some sort of what's the word? Attacking impotence going. Like, it was very like broken down hard. We were struggling to sort of break them down, and whatever Tuchel said at the second half, they went in, came out, and they were just they were completely unbelievable in the second half. The way they took whatever he's told them to do on board. They
He does
came out.
something in this. He does
Yeah,
something in the dressing room, right? I don't know what he does,
yeah,
but he does something in the dressing room. The second half is always completely different from the way that the first
yeah.
half goes on. It could be because the players haven't warmed up properly or something. But the second half is absolutely a different half that you see with Chelsea Football Club. And the way that we scored that 4 goals, I was very excited about the fact that 3 of those goals were from academy products, right? If I'm getting my numbers right, Chalobah, Hudson-Odoi, and Reece James, of course. Yeah, 3 goals from our academy product. So would you say, I know it's a recurring question that is being asked in most of the stream, but then I'd like to analyze this more closely, right? I mean, would you say that, or would you classify Cobham's academy to be the best academy in the world right now? Because we've got strong contention from Barcelona, even Arsenal at this point in time. I think one of the streams I did hear about, one of the records which says like 31 players are playing in the top European competitions in Arsenal, which is like the highest number. So of course we've got strong contention, but what do you think about Cobham? I think more quality is more important than the quantity. So I'd stay with Cobham, but then your thoughts on it.
Yeah. We've had a very good youth academy for the last 10 years. This isn't something new, for me. It's just the difference is now we're seeing these players more because they've been given the opportunity and they've took it. And the Callum Hudson-Odois and the Rubens of this world we all knew they were talented. We all knew they had the ability to become very good footballers. It was just that we never really got to see that would be the right answer. Obviously, Ruben picked up that serious injury that took him out. Callum had an injury at the same time when Ruben did in the Sarri year. We put him out for a while as well, and they both didn't come back the same. And then you look at people like Mason Mount and Reece James, who done the opposite. They went away into the Championship. They played very well for their teams that were getting recognised very well from teams like Chelsea and others. They came back, and then under Lampard, they took their opportunities. And out of all of them, I think the one that surprised me the most was Chalobah, because he came out of nowhere. It wasn't like we'd seen him or watched him, and he literally came in the team. And I remember his first game. As soon as he came in the team, it was like, no, that was a fluke. Like, is he this good? Like, or it's going to be a consistent thing.
Preseason, right?
Yeah. Is he going to be crap the next game? Like, and then all of a sudden he comes the second game, third game, and then we get to the Juventus game and he's scoring goals like he did against a European giant like Juventus. Great finish, by the way, as well, and putting in performances that he does. I think Chelsea have the best, easily. I call it Le Cobham anyway because it is La Cobham, but I think they do have the best academy at the moment in Europe, maybe even the world. There is competition from Ajax as well. I know Ram mentioned it today. They've got a very good youth academy as well, bringing players through directly from Holland. But I would say, Barcelona's is always and has been good for the last couple of years as well. Yet to be seen more so now because they're not giving them young prospects an opportunity. Some of them, but not all of them. So you only got to look at what these players that Chelsea have brought in are doing, and at the high level that they're doing it, which should make it easier for you to realise that we do have the best academy because we're sitting top of the league. They're starting games. They're heavily involved in the performances that we're having, and they're scoring goals like they did against Juventus, who are a massive club. So I think we are. Yeah.
Perfect. And I think that is a nice segue. To get into this particular topic that I was thinking about getting an answer from you is on Chalobah. I mean, it is not an easy job to replace your captain in the squad. Let's be honest about it. He replaced Aspie. He's playing the right centre back position, which is like the replacement for Aspie, right? Of course, Aspie is on top of his game. It's not that Aspie is already aged and he's not performing for the most part of the time. I mean, he is performing. He's putting his best as well. So the way that he performs, Chalobah is actually planning to replace Aspie and become a first team squad member, and he's almost playing every single game. And even Thomas Tuchel in the previous press conference did mention that I was about to put in Aspie because he did not get any chance to play. I missed out on Alonso. So, I hope Alonso doesn't take anything in a wrong way when Chilwell got injured, right? But he had to bring in Aspie because Aspie was waiting for his turn for a longer time. So that is because of Chalobah's performance, the way that he's put in his performance. So Aspie as an individual, great performer, been with the team for like close to 8 or 9 years right now. We all know that. But Chalobah coming from the academy, what do you think has been okay? What do you think is come into Chelsea at this last 3-4 years, which is transition this one. Like when I say transition, like last 3-4 years after the transfer ban that Chelsea had, that is when we brought in a lot of academy players into Chelsea. Otherwise, Chelsea players, the academy players, they used to go to other countries or other leagues and play for the other teams. But usually, it's a rarity to see these academy products getting transitioned to directly to the first team. Would you classify this to be Lampard's effort in the management, or would you say that is just due to the transfer ban that we had?
Partly to do with the transfer ban, but it was also a transition as well. We had a bit of a transitional moment when Hazard left Chelsea and went to Real Madrid. And once that happened, you lose your best player. All right, you had made money on him, which we didn't get paid until... Actually, we did get paid part of it, but we had to wait until they won the league or see what they'd done at the end of the season to see whether we got a bonus. We ended up getting more free than Hazard. Actually got 150 million euros because of him winning the league in the first season as well, even though he wasn't playing. He was part of the squad. So, yeah, look, we had the money, but we couldn't use it. You're right. And that was a big issue. But Frank Lampard came in, and as much as people want to dig at him, I thought he stabilised the team. I thought he part of the reason why we are champions of Europe is because he got us in Champions League with a ban and us losing our best player. People forget that we had Tammy Abraham coming back from Aston Villa in the Championship, and Mason Mount coming from Derby, who followed Lampard across, leading our line in the and the levels from Championship to Premier League are completely different. Like this, the expectations no one had the expectations of Chelsea to go and challenge for a top four. No one. I didn't even think we could. I thought we'd be 5th, 6th, 7th. Like that's what I thought, because I thought, you know what, we're transitioning. We're bringing in youngsters now. They're going to need a bit of time. They're lacking experience in the Premier League, and they didn't. And I would definitely say it was more of a transitional phase, which has allowed these prospects to have an opportunity. Partly Frank Lampard, because he brought through James and Mason Mount. Especially when Lampard was here, Mason Mount put in some amazing performances, which everyone started to notice, along with James. And I wouldn't say he helped show. I mean, he gave him opportunities here and there, but for me, everything else other than that was all on Tuchel. Tuchel was the one that elevated not only the youth players, but every player in that Chelsea team. Players that I actually thought were not good enough, thought we had to get rid of. And that's the difference for me, really. Yeah, you see more opportunities, but that's because Tuchel's realizing and noting that we have the talent there. We don't have to always go out and buy. We should use the individuals or give them an opportunity. And I trust Tuchel. I ain't got no reason not to trust this guy anymore. This guy just knows what he's doing, and he oozes class all the time. So yeah, is what it is.
Absolutely. Beck says that the thing with Chelsea's academy is that they produce graduates who are able to break into the topmost teams instantly. Livermento as well. Yeah, Livermento, Southampton, Broja, Anjurin. How many players? Like we can just keep counting the names that we have.
Lamptey's at Brighton.
Lamptey in Brighton. Yeah. Yes, so many players, and the way that they're performing, they're standout performers in each of the teams that they're playing. Like Conor Gallagher, the mainstay in Crystal Palace. Gahey, the mainstay in their defense, and Lamptey is a class apart when you take the entire Brighton squad. The way that he dribbles from the right front, I think I wouldn't really go for to say that he is like a Hazard, but then he's got that quality to become one. I mean, the way that he dribbles from the right side is becoming very dangerous for the other team to play against. So he's a class apart in that Brighton squad. And Livramento as well, the way that he moves forward, he's already getting, he's already a player who can help us in that wing back position. He that is the way that he plays as well. Broja, he's able to get into tight spaces and score goals. He's like the person who you expect to be in the right place at the right time. So he does a good job. So I think our academy has improved miles now, and one of the topmost academies in the world. So Kasim says, great show, lads. Thank you, Kasim, for joining in as well. Having said that, let's get to the next point, which is on the injury update. Chilwell. Like you said in the GNA TV, of course, we were all rejoicing with the fact that Juventus, the Italian giant, was laid in Champions League by Chelsea 4-0, but we didn't even have that celebration completed with the injury update on Chilwell. An entire season he could be out. We don't still have the confirmation, but Matla, the latest article from Matla says that he could be at least out until December. I mean, I guess until the next season, end of the next season. So it's a worrying sign, right? How do you think Chelsea should negate the situation? We've got Alonso, we've got a couple of academy products as well that we can bring in, or we could recall our loanees. These are the three options that we have, or we can go to the winter transfer window and probably get another wing back for ourselves. So what would be the ideal choice that Chelsea should operate on?
Well, the first thing is it's a grade 2 tear, which is not the worst. That they have mentioned that it might be that he could be back early next year, but they're going to make that decision at the end of the New Year's. So they're going to see how he recovers from now till beginning of January, and then from that they're going to make a decision as to whether they can maybe get him in for February, into January, depending on his own recovery. Obviously, he's damaged it. They just, they've expected 6 weeks minimum for him to be out, which is 6 to 9 weeks. It's just down to Chelsea whether or not they want to take the risk to bring him back in and, because he is important. The problem is he's very important to this system. I stress about it a lot. Like, him and Reece James are, for me, the most important players in this system. Like, in terms of how we play, not as an individual, but as the system, it's important because, for me, you have to have a bit of everything. You've got to be able to go forward, you've got to be able to go backwards, you've got to be able to tackle. They score, they assist, they do everything. That it's a very unique role that they play, and not everyone can do it. And that's why I say when Alonso comes in, he will do a job. I don't not think he will do a job, but it's just to what level. He's never going to hit the levels of how Chilwell does it, or and his recovery pace is poor. Is he going to be able to defend when he's out of position? Probably not, because he's too slow. But yeah, there might be an opportunity for Chelsea to maybe say, right, January window, we've made a decision on Chilwell. We're either going to bring him back in February, March, or if they're not going to do that, then he's out for the rest of the season. Just let him just recover for next summer, get him ready, and then we look to bring someone in that can do a job. The question and the problem you got with that is who. That's the thing for me. Who comes in and can play in that position at the level as to what he does, and you're going to have to spend serious money to maybe find someone like that to be able to do it. But again, that's going to be down to Tuchel and our scouting team to maybe have that chat close to the time. They might even think Alonso's enough, or maybe you think Sam Niguez can play over there. I don't know. And it's just something I think we're going to find out soon. I don't think it's something that we're not going to see. We'll see soon what Tuchel's thinking, what his plans are. Yeah, and we'll just go from there with it.
Trust Thomas Tuchel. It's as simple as it is. Ben says the risk with Alonso is that he'll come in, have 2 or 3 good games on the bounce, and then digress game by game from there. If I'm to be honest, Bex, I still take that 2 or 3 games at this point in time, and then probably take it from there, because by that time we will have the winter transfer window open, and then we'll have options as well if things do not happen properly. So. I'm not saying that we probably have to go for an immediate option, but it's a good option to have, is what I'm trying to say. So with that, the next thing that I had on the agenda is a bit on Manchester United, because that's the team that we're going to be playing against. That I keep following the other teams as well, right? Gem, it's not just Chelsea. Usually this channel covers big channel teams. At least I don't go live for the matches, Chelsea matches, at least here, because I'd be in the CFC chats, but the other matches like Tottenham, Manchester United, I try to cover it here. Watching Manchester United closely for some time, I was watching the Villarreal game as well. The first half, they didn't have a clue as to how Villarreal was playing. I'll be honest about it. The second half, maybe for a period of time, Michael Carrick actually did what Thomas Tuchel does. Like, he went to the dressing room, said something, and the second half was completely different. They started dominating the game. They started, getting into the right position. They started getting, putting in the ball in the right areas, ensuring that Ronaldo was properly. The delivery for Ronaldo was also proper. So things started working out fine in the second half for Manchester United in the Villarreal game. So how worried should we be when we are facing them in the weekend? They've not been in a splendid form in terms of like Premier League, but the last game they're coming victorious against the team that they lost with their previous manager. So is that a sign of them getting better?
I don't know. First and foremost, I think if we do our job, and I keep saying it, if we play like we did against Juventus, I think we beat them still. I don't think their form's good enough to dramatically change that quick. They're talking about getting a new interim manager in Ragnick. It looks like it might be happening. I watched a bit of the Villarreal game, and I thought they were lucky to be drawing. To be honest, they could have easily been 1 or 2 goals behind. Did I see an instant reaction from them on the pitch? No. They did win the game at the end of it, fair enough. But I just think a better team maybe would have punished them a lot earlier, and they wouldn't have even been thinking that they're still in that game. And that's why I think if Chelsea do what they need to do, then I don't see why we can't, deal with this Man United team. In the past, they've been a bit of a bogey team, but at the same time, we've had a lot of, things go against us, especially with referees. And then we have got someone refereeing our game in the name of Anthony Taylor, but I don't want to talk too much about that way, Sky. But it's look, they're a good team. They've got players that can hurt you. We can't go rolling in there not thinking that if we just play, 50% to the way that we play, that we can beat them, because I don't think it would be enough. I think we'll have to play like we did against Juventus and Leicester to really put a 2-3-0 on. If we don't, we could still win 1-0. Don't get me wrong, because I think we can defensively do quite well. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to risk it against a Ronaldo and a Bruno, who that if you give them time on the ball, can still hurt you on their day. And they definitely have top players in Rashford. Sancho scoring on the weekend, that might reignite him a little bit. But there's enough there to hurt you, is what I'm trying to get at. But I think you have to impose yourself on them to get the result. If you show too much respect to them and allow them the time to do what they want to do, then I think they're good enough to hurt any team still.
Agreed. I think the first goal for us would be a lot critical. The reason why I say that is because Manchester United historically, once the opposition scores the first goal in this season at least, they start to put their heads down and they cannot recover from that sort of scenario. Most of the time it's been that. So it's integral that we get the first goal. And another aspect when it comes to the context of this game is that Chelsea, when they score the first game, there's no turning back. I mean, we don't leak goals after that. Like 1-0, we're still satisfied with it, and we make our defense very strong. So that 1-0 is going to be very, very critical in this game, is what I think. The Man U Chelsea game, I don't think so. It's going to be a high scoring encounter, but still, we definitely need the 3 points out of the game. We're 12 matches in, 29 points, followed by Liverpool, 12 matches in, 25 points. So they are right behind us, and Man City as well. So it is going to be important in the context of we securing the league. We probably have to go 10 points clear by Jan, at least towards the end of Jan. So that really helps us in gaining the momentum and trying to win the league. Having said that, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was how difficult is it going to be to deal with Ronaldo. We all know who Ronaldo is and how lethal he can be on his day. So how do we have to? I mean, what would be your plans to deal with Ronaldo?
The way you stop Ronaldo from having any influence on this game is 2 ways, and they're not. Say they're easy, but I think it kind of works in the way that we play anyway. One of them is don't allow him time on the ball. When he does get the ball, get in his face, shut him down quickly, win it back.
Probably mark him with Rudiger.
I just think whoever it is, Silva, Rudiger, as soon as the ball reaches him, just press, like we do anyway. Just win the ball back quickly, and then it'll be down to our midfield to come in and try and win the ball back as well quickly as possible. So ball retention is important. How quick can we get the ball back from them once we lose it? The other thing I would say is, yes, his runs are very good and he's unbelievable. We know how good he is. But for him to be effective, he has to receive the ball. So if Bruno or Sancho or Rashford have got the ball and he's making runs, you make sure you shut that ball down and you do not allow that ball to reach him or even allow them to cross the ball. Like, you have to cut it out. You have to cut out that link between them to stop him being deadly in the box. Because you get him in the box and you play the ball in, he's going to score. 9 times out of 10, he's going to get you. He's going to beat you in front of that goal and he's going to score. So get in his face is number one, and number two would be stop the ball to him, whether it's a cross or whatever it is, reaching him. Make sure you cut that ball out before they even think of getting the ball to him when he's making runs. That's what I'd say.
Basically, try and isolate him.
Try and isolate him, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think Maguire is not going to be playing for them, which is probably a positive for them. So they can better
Negative
align
for
their
us.
defense. Yeah, it's a negative for us in the context of how his performance has been in this season. But they're still going to be playing without their captain in the defense line. So I also think that De Gea has been performing good in the last few games. His goalkeeping performance has been very good. He exactly knows how to make saves. Only thing that I'm worried about is, like, if the defense is this shaky in Manchester United, and he still can put up a formidable performance. If the defense gets better, then it's going to be very difficult to score against them. So yeah, I understand. It's not something that is going to happen immediately, instantly, even if any of the managers come in, and it's not going to be like a magic switch that you just
Well, they're
turn
missing
on.
Luke Shaw. They're missing Maguire. They're missing Eric Bailly. Sorry, they're missing Varane. So, Luke Shaw, Maguire, and Varane are all starters. So, I don't know. That's what I've heard today. Whether or not that's a lie and some of them are back, I don't know. But missing them three in a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't talking about this game in particular. I'm talking about, like, as we progress through the season, once they get their defense sorted, then this team could be, hard to break down because the goalkeeper is in good form. So that's exactly what I was, trying to get at. But yeah, coming back to the context of this game, they've been operating in different formations, Jim. First of all, they've been operating in a 4-2-3-1, which is like the favorite formation for Ole. And then they've moved to a 4-2-4 against Manchester City. They got beaten so badly. Like, I think the 4-2-4 was against Liverpool. They got beaten badly, and then they started. They even went for a 3-5-2 sort of formation, which Chelsea used to follow. So it will be intriguing to see what formation that they're going to deploy as well, because that in itself is a surprise for me, because they keep changing the formation. Any predictions for that?
No, I agree with what you said, to be honest. I don't think there'll be much changes. I can just see it being quite a straightforward sort of win, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. I think it will be I think we'll have to just see how it plans out, to be honest, mate. But what Becca's saying is true as well. As simple as taking our chances, the game is ours to lose.
Yeah,
I
the
agree
game is ours to
massively.
lose.
Definitely as to lose massively. And listen, we play our game like we did against Juventus and Leicester. We get the job done. Can they hurt us? Yes. Are they the players to hurt us? Yes. Can they pick up form now that they've got an interim coming in? Yeah, but do I care? No, because we've got Tuchel. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't. When there were people worried about them bringing in Zidane and whatever, it didn't really bother me. It was just a thing of, we do what we need to do. Like, as long as we play the way we're playing, I don't think there's many teams or managers that can combat against that, to be honest. Maybe Man City, Bayern Munich and Liverpool in their day. Even Liverpool, I don't think, really, if we turn it up on them properly. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to it.
Agreed. And I know this is too early to talk about in terms of the next season, of course. But I just wanted to talk about, like, while I have you in the channel, I just wanted to touch upon this point as well. How do you see Conor Gallagher integrating into the squad the next season? Of course, the way that he's forming right now in Crystal Palace is simply phenomenal. The entire play revolves around he is playing in almost two formations that he plays well, the triangle, with him playing as the central attacking midfielder with both Edward on the one side, and I guess that one or Benteke or the so he's almost like a provider for these both. And Chelsea as well, plays a triangle or an inverted triangle depending on who our strikers are. So this cam position is something that he can easily fit in, and I think he's going to be in strong contention for the next season. But what are your thoughts about this? And if at all that happens, who do you think is going out of the window? I'm guessing he's going to say ZH, but I'll just leave it up to you.
Barkley. Get rid of Barkley.
Barkley, okay.
Yeah. Now look, he's having a very good season. My issue with it is that when they're playing as well as they are, I would rather him continue that. To come into this Chelsea team and start, which is what he's going to want, you're going to have to free up some space. So unless we sell some players to make that space, then cool. But then we usually go and buy. So it's one of them ones where it's like, we have to make a decision. We'll either get rid of the dead wood that we currently have and bring in the younger prospects, but say to them that, you'll get games, but you won't be playing as many games as you maybe would at Palace at the moment because he's playing every game. So, I don't know. I think 2 years. I like Conor Gallagher. I think he's a very good player. For me, he's one for the future. He's not one for now. I'd like to see him in the Chelsea team eventually. My worry is that it's just a little bit too early because even though I think he'll probably be better playing with the players we've got around, we do play a lot of games, 3 days, every 3 days, 2-3 days. And I don't know whether that would be a good idea to bring him into that at this early when he's only starting to grow as a player himself. I think I'd rather him be at a mediocre team where there's not much responsibility to be wherever you're going to be. Build up and gain your experience, and then at the right time, the door's always open. Come back, and he's playing Premier League football. So him playing Premier League football is priceless. The experience he's getting playing the teams that he's playing week in, week out is only a benefit for him and a benefit for us. But I would allow him to continue doing that. We will need him eventually because, the Kantes, the Jorginhos, all these guys, they're going to be gone soon. So we've got to start looking at bringing in certain individuals, later on. So one for the future for me, not entirely now, unless Chelsea get rid of a load of players and then he bring him in and he's happy to just sort of mix around on the bench with that. But top player, one for the future.
Makes sense. Beck says that there's also a possibility of Tchouaméni coming in. So outgoing would definitely be expected. So quickly, Jen, if there is supposed to be 3 outgoings and 3 incomings, who would your 3 outgoings be and 3 incomings be?
In the midfield or just anywhere? Anywhere.
For Chelsea this season.
Jules Koundé, Tchouaméni, and a winger of some kind. I would probably say someone. I don't know, really. To be honest, I don't really thought about it too much, but I actually like the boy from Leipzig, Nkunku. I think he's very good. He's someone that I think could benefit from this playing in this team. There's a couple of wingers that I actually like, to be honest. I wouldn't know who, depending on who goes. But the reason I say that is because even though we have got a form from the ones that we've got at the moment, they're very sort of in and out. And I don't think we have someone that's actually a natural creator. So it'd be nice to find a winger that is creating, but at the same time scores goals, assists, and does everything that he can possibly do. But I would say a winger, a midfielder, and a defender.
Jeremy Doku, is that an option for you?
No.
Doku is the Belgian, right?
Yeah, I've seen him. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player. Not sure if he's a Chelsea fan.
No, not for me.
And outgoings? Barkley, for sure.
Barkley's definitely going. Rudiger looks like he's potentially leaving the football club as well. And then I think N'Golo
just let it out. ZH, right? No?
No,
I was expecting ZH.
No, I mean, ZH will probably... it's interesting with ZH because if he can continue with the form that he's in, then he can stay. Like, I have no issue with ZH. It's just that if you're not going to perform and you're going to keep dropping stinkers, then there's no point in you being it. We want consistency from you. So you play like you have the last game or two, and you can consistently do that. Then he's valuable. That's the way I see it, and he should be because he's in his prime. So I actually think N'Golo Kante. As much as you didn't want to say it.
Kante, okay. 23 is what his contract ends, so we've got a year to sell him, though.
Sell him because not because I want to see him go. I
at
think
least get
that,
something out of it. Is
yeah,
what you're saying.
I think you can still make a bit of money on him, and he doesn't play much anymore. Do you know what I mean? As much as he's so great to have in the team, and 4 or 5 games in a row would be really good, you miss him a lot as well. And I think people will still buy him at this moment in time, and I think you'll get really good money for him. And if it isn't him, maybe Jorginho ends up going eventually. If he wins the Premier League and he's done the Champions League, maybe he would like to go back to Italy and do. Like, it wouldn't surprise me with Jorginho, you know. So
A new challenge, probably.
yeah.
Makes sense. Satya, he is my brother. Actually, he's my brother. We live in the same home, so I guess he's messaging from the other room. Ragnick, Klopp and Tuchel's coach earlier, is greater than Ten Hag next season. Thoughts? Ten Hag
Rangnick,
is like
Klopp.
I guess he's the coach of. Yeah, he was looked up on. I forgot the team name. But yeah, so he's
Ajax.
saying that Ragnick is a better option. Ajax, yeah, perfect. Ajax.
Yeah.
So he's saying that Ragnick is a better option than Ten Hag. What are your thoughts, Jam? He's a Man U
Klopp,
fan, by the way.
What, Ragnick, Klopp, and Tuchel are better than Ten Hag? Is that what he's saying? Yeah.
And he says that Ragnick, who was the coach of Klopp and Tuchel earlier, is better than Ten Hag for Manchester United.
Oh, for United, you're talking about. Yes and no. I think Ragnick's a very good manager. Experience-wise, he's like the master, if you want to say the master in many ways. There's a reason he's coming in as an interim. I don't think he's here for the long term. I think he's coming to do a job, get him to play. And I actually think Ten Hag is probably someone that Man United look at and think he's the one that can take on from that. And if you've got Ragnick coming through the door, that can create a system, get them playing, defending, doing whatever it is you want to do. When Ten Hag comes in, it's very identical in how they set up. So it's a kind of like he can just carry it on, but being younger, implement his ideas into it as well. So, yeah, I would say yes and no. I mean, no, really, because I think Ragnick will come and do a job. Yes, but is he better than Ten Hag? I don't know. Is the answer to that? I think Ten Hag would still do a sort of same system and same style of football, if that makes sense.
So would you agree with this? Like Ragnick coming in now, and probably the next season he takes over as the director of football there in Manchester United, and Ten Hag comes in as a manager. Then would that be a better option? Like I guess Satya is getting at that.
What? So Ragnick comes in now, and then what they're doing now makes me coming in now and Ten Hag next year. Yeah, I think I think there's some sense behind it based on the style of football that they play and the system that they play. They're both pretty much set up the same. So what Man United are thinking is we can't get Ten Hag right now because he's at Ajax and they're doing very well. Bring in Ragnick, get a system in place, use him, and then get Ten Hag on. And like you said there, 2 year old as a director after, maybe, he might then go on while Ten Hag is here and sort of be the prodigy looking down on him, and Man United might employ him there just to help him in many ways stabilize the style and the system that they're playing. Maybe it'd be an option.
Exactly. That's what we were also hitting at.
Yeah.
Like bringing him as a director for the next season, and then we have Ten Hag coming in as coach. That could be a good possibility. But yeah, that's on Manchester United. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Manchester United. The way that they play, the way they have to adapt to Ronaldo. I mean, Pochettino could be a better option. He probably will be one of the first managers to coach both Messi and Ronaldo back to back. In his career, but I don't know how far that could materialize. Even if it will, if all that happens, then how it goes altogether a different scenario. And getting back to Chelsea now, says that Kepa will likely see move to a team where he'll be in a starting goalkeeper position as well. Heavy links to Lazio with Sarri. I don't want Kepa to go. I at least want him to stay for the penalties. I'm not sure if he will be wanting to.
Trying to get rid of Kepa is going to be hard. We're obviously going to make a loss on him anyway, but maybe it is an opportunity. But then we would have to look for a second goalie anyway. So I don't know. I don't really know with Kepa at the moment and where we stand with him. We'll have to see next season.
Beck says it's fascinating that most United fans would prefer a Ten Hag who's only managed in the Dutch league as opposed to Pochettino, who's done incredibly well with Tottenham for their standards in the English Premier League. But again, Beck, he's won 2016, but what else has he done? after that. Like,
I don't rate Poch.
me too.
I don't think he's any better than Ten Hag. To be honest opinion, he done very well at Tottenham. Should have been backed, which he was let down by the Spurs board. Let's be serious in terms of Levy. But since that, all right, he's been at PSG. What did he do? What is he doing right now other than, all right, I think they're leading the league, but they're struggling in Champions League again. He's got the players to possess to try and tune them and play. Will he be able to come to Man United and have the same impact and manage the player profiles that they have there? I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I don't think he's as good as people think he is, to be honest. I think he will come and do a job and they'll play a decent level of football. I just don't know whether it's Premier League title winning football. Does that make sense? Poch.
Yeah.
That's my only question mark of him. And Ten Hag, we can laugh at him as much as we want, but he's won it. He's won it in the Dutch league, right? The Dutch league is not a massive, it's not like the Premier League, for example, but the guy has won things. He's won back-to-back Dutch leagues over there. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think they're two different managers that both have a chance of coming in and running, doing a job. It's just, well, what job can they do? My money would probably be on Ten Hag rather than a Poch, if you ask me.
Makes sense. So we've talked extensively about Chelsea and Manchester United, leading up to the game. So we'll quickly get the score prediction from Gem. Gem, your score prediction for this game? I already know because I was at the GNA TV earlier, but no, I guess you didn't tell me about the score prediction today. That was for tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's now. I haven't done the preview. The preview is going to be tomorrow night. Actually, we're going to be doing 7:30 p.m. UK time. That one. 2-0 Chelsea. 2-0. Yeah, I'd say 2. Could be 3, but at the same time, are we slightly affected? Yes, because of not having Chillwell. That does affect the balance for me of the system, and I think people will only start realizing that. Maybe not straight away, but after a while, we'll start seeing the difference in why the system needs a certain individual in that position. But we have to see. We can beat them 2-3-0, but at the same time, if we are slow and we're having one of them games, it could be a 1-0 and we just win 1-0. But they don't create a lot because we can win two ways. I've said it a number of times. We can win where we win 1-0 and they don't have any chances, but we still control, or we can go win 3-4-0 and they still don't have any chances, but we just score more goals. You know what I mean? So it's a good trait to have. That's what I'd say.
Makes sense. I know I've talked to you about this particular point plenty of times, but then never got an opportunity to talk to you about this like one-on-one, because it's more of a panel discussion. It's come up in the panel discussion. It gets deviated most of the time. So I'd like to ask you this question, it's going to be like a one-on-one conversation. So it will, I guess we'll get into more details in this particular question. So my question for you is the system not facilitating the wingers, or do we actually have problems with our wingers in this, in the club?
The system relies on our wingers. It's not the fact that it's an issue. It's just that it's how the system ticks. It's like having a puzzle. Yeah, you have a puzzle laid out and it has all its pieces, but you take one piece out of that puzzle, it doesn't look clear, does it? Because you can't, even though you can see the full picture, there's still something not there. And that's the best example I could use of it. Yes, we'll still score goals. Yes, we'll win games. Yes, we will dominate and do what we usually do, which is control games. But it won't be, for me, there might not be a consistent pattern of it. It will be like 1-2 games, and then we may play really poor. And that moment while we play poor is because certain individuals within the team are just not at the level that you need them to be consistently. And I think consistent is the most important thing. And when you look at the current 11 that have been playing, and you've got to think when Lukaku and Werner have been out, forget the forward line because we've rotated a lot with the forward line, barring Cho, who's played quite a lot of them games. We've had a fixed team. Thiago Silva plays, Rudiger plays, Mendy plays, Jorginho plays. Kovacic before he got injured. Now he was injured. Ruben comes in. Wing backs were always Reece James and Ben Chillwell. And that's because a lot of the way that we play, we rely on them to not only go forward and create and be in the box and score. We actually ask them to when we're out of possession to go and chase the ball down, win it back quickly. Whether it's in the midfield, you go and attack the midfield. Whether it's in your area behind where you've left space, you go and get that ball. And I just don't think someone like Alonso has that kind of ability to do that. It will do it to a level. There's always a level, but it's just you need that another
Beyond that,
level, and it gives you that level. Do you know what I
go
mean? And
over and
that's why
beyond.
we look so fluid going, but on both sides. The issue you've got now is we'll be very good on one side, and the other side you won't. You know, maybe we'll be good
slacking
on certain games. Yeah, it'll look good going like that. Eventually, it will just be like that, and then this will, this will maybe be letting us down a bit, and that affects the system. That affects everything that we're doing, from Jorginho when he picks the ball up to playing it to the forward line, because the forward line look to the right, and and he's not there because he's too slow, or he's not in the right position, or he's taking too many touches with the ball. He will do a job and it will be fine, but it's just the system will be affected by it. And I banged on about this, not even now. I banged on about this at the beginning of the season when Alonso was starting. When Alonso was playing, big up to Nick Blue. When Alonso was playing at the beginning, Chillwell couldn't get a game. Remember, we were sitting there going, why aren't Chillwell playing? I was saying, we're playing okay, but we're not playing to the level that I know we can play. And that level is what we can see now with Reece James and Chillwell and the others. This is the level. This level is, may continue for a little bit, but I do think it will drop again because the wing backs are so important.
But don't you think, since the importance have started, coming to the wing backs right now, the wingers are being restrictive, like the way that here I talk about mostly Ziyech or Pulisic or Werner, who's playing on the wing, right? They're not able to have that sort of a gap that they'd like to go on the wing position, because that is anyways occupied by the wing backs at this point in time. They
play a completely different role, though. We don't require them to be wingers. That's the difference. The wingers again come from our wing backs. That what's required from the two that sit behind the number 9, whoever it is to attack pockets of space behind the defense. Yeah. So it's not about going like that all the time, even though they might do it and drift out a bit sometimes and pick the ball up. What Tuchel actually asked them to do, when you look at Chelsea and when we score most of our goals, it's because we attack the space behind the defence. It's not because we go wide. It's because we attack the pockets, and then the Reece James and the Chilwells come from wide and close in, and then we score goals. It's because we suffocate them. It's like suffocating.
We've got 5 people coming together. And
Yeah, so you imagine it. You've got your 2 players playing behind the 9s, making runs behind the defenders, which naturally drags them in to the box. And then on top of that, you've got these wing backs who are so wide, closing in on the box as well. It's hard to defend, and that's why I say they're not actual wingers. They're more of a forward, but like a deep forward. Right. If that makes sense. Like they yeah.
Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, we don't have an specific position for that. But I'd still like someone like, I don't know the person. I'm probably not going to talk about the person who would be the right fit, but I'd like someone who can shoot from outside the box. The place where these people actually get in is the place where they should start shooting from. Like, if we had De Bruyne there, or we had someone like Toni Kroos, I know Toni Kroos shoots from a different angle, but then those people who can shoot from outside the box, the position that Ziyech is getting in, the pockets that he's able to find, is the place that he has to start taking shots, which is right now. And that probably is the reason why, against low block, we might have trouble, because he's not going to take shots from outside the box. And we rely too much on our wingers to a delivery in, our strikers to go in forward. But nevertheless, let's not get into too much of details here, because we're still managing to win the game and there is no problems that we are encountering at this point in time. But we'll quickly answer Becca's question. Could we see Tuchel running it back to Dortmund days and sticking a Pulisic back there? Had tried it out in the preseason, and it is more of an inverted role. I guess she's talking about the left wing back option, right? Or
yeah, I think she's talking about Pulisic playing as a left wing back, because he did it at Dortmund for a short period.
I think it's a preseason as well. It did not work out, actually. I mean, it was fairly okayish, not more than that.
I think it's a completely different system. Even though Tuchel managed it, it was different players, different roles. different ways of doing it. I think Pulisic playing in that position, even though offensively he may be good, you would limit him to a degree because he can't get back and help Rudiger defend. I don't want to see him trying to tackle people, in our own box when they've got the ball and that like that. No, do you know what I mean? And that's my issue with this wing back role. You kind of need someone that's very good going forward and that can create and has the pace to be direct. And if the ball's on the other side, get in the box as well, coming in from the back. Like what you do? Chillwell does it. James does it very well. That's why they've been scoring goals. But also able to go back and defend and chase the ball down and help Rudiger when we haven't got the ball or whoever it is, Chalobah.
That work is hectic, and you'd be in a position to do what Show's not able to do because he's not defensively strong. He'll probably have the same problem.
It's why I call Reece James a hybrid, because he can do everything. Defend.
That's kind of what separates him from Trent as well, right? Trent is good attacking, don't get me wrong, but coming back, getting to his the defensive position and then doing a defensive work, that's something that he misses. But first of all, thank you, Nick, for subscribing. It does mean a lot when it comes to subscription part. So thank you, Nick, for doing that. We've got 9 more minutes of Gems time with us, and I'll just quickly take you through the other teams. Just give me a quick, I'll just get you one question for each of the team and then we'll wrap it up. The top 6 teams. We've covered Manchester United and Chelsea. Now let's get into Tottenham. Antonio Conte is coming. What do you think, or where do you think they will finish in this particular season? They've won their first game against Leeds United. They scored the first game. Leeds United scored the first goal, but then they came back stronger in the second half. Again, Conte proving that he can do magics. Like second half, I don't know what he said to the team, but they came back strong, and Kane for the first time knew exactly where he was supposed to play. So it was good. The Leeds game was good, actually. 2-1 for Tottenham. So where do you see them finishing the season?
6th. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's a good manager, but I still think they've got a lot of problems with players, individuals. I think he'll get Kane and Son scoring goals and they'll win games, but they won't stop leaking goals. I think they will still concede goals.
Still play with Dyer in the back.
So. He's just useless, isn't he? Like, that's my problem with it. Like, Conte's a good manager, but how does he elevate Eric Dyer? Do you know what I mean? It's I don't know. But yeah,
6th. All right. Arsenal without it at 10 games unbeaten run was just completely shattered in the Liverpool performance, 4-0. And I also think that 10 games is something that they got out of, like, because they played that sort of an opposition. The game they should have won anyways. They did draw against Crystal Palace, as well as Crystal Palace was a 2-2, right? Like I said, in the final minute that was a tactically strong side from what is his name? But yeah, did Crystal Palace's coach. But it was a good game, and Arsenal did perform. They had a good run of wins actually, but where do you see them finishing the season? Are they even contenders for the top 6?
7th.
So last time they finished 8th, and this time you're seeing 7th. All right. West Ham United, again, team with good form. They're doing a good job. To be honest, they look like a more complete side. Maybe here and there they kind of miss certain things, but they don't have the squad depth as well. So looking good, decent, but again, their position towards the end of the season.
5th.
All right, 5th. Good call. And so that leaves us with Leicester. 12th position right now. Don't know what they're doing right now. Defense has been shambolic. Of course, I guess they picked up a defensive injury during the preseason for Fofana, right? Who they lost unexpectedly, and from there it's been a downward trend for Leicester City in this particular season. Right now, the 12th spot, where I think they will finish this season.
8th or 9th, one or two.
8th and 9th. All right. Yeah, so that's what I want to know about. Crystal Palace have been like the black horse of this season. from where they're performing. They're actually putting in a lot more weight than they're pushing above their weight is how I'd say. But any surprises? Do you think like probably going into the eighth spot, starting in eighth spot or something?
Who's that?
Or
Sorry, said any
Crystal Palace?
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I think they'll just be a mid-table team. They're doing very well, but I don't see them 10th, maybe where they are now. 10th. I don't think they'll push any more. I actually think Man United will finish fourth. So that's why I said Man United
Okay.
fourth, West Ham fifth, Tottenham sixth, and Arsenal seventh. That's what I've gone for in terms of Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City. I would say
Yeah.
how it is now.
It could go
That's
either
how
way.
Well, no, I
Okay.
say how it is now. Yeah, that's how ideally I'd like to see it, but that's how I think how close it will be. I think Man City
So
will
you're
be
saying
second.
Liverpool finished second? Okay. Right now is Man City second, Liverpool second.
Man City is second, Liverpool third. Yeah.
Oh, Man City second. Yeah, then it makes sense. All right. And we've got 4 more minutes and relegation side. I guess Norwich for sure. Yeah.
Newcastle,
Newcastle.
because I think it'll be
Newcastle.
funny. I think it'll be funny that they've just been
It's
bought
gonna be
out.
fun. Yeah.
Norwich, Newcastle, and
Burnley or
Watford.
Aston Villa. Watford. Okay. I mean, they're picking up points. Do you think they'll slack off?
No. Yeah, I think they'll go soon.
Okay. Nick Blue says Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool,
Same.
Man U are the
That's what I said,
same.
yeah.
All right. Nick Blue and Jem are on the same page. Something that doesn't happen in GNA TV more often. But yeah, here it does. So thanks, Nick Blue, for that. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and Man U. And I still think this would be the right four. I think maybe Man U could be replaced by West Ham. It all depends on the manager that they get and how they start playing. So, but then they've got one man who can, single-handedly take over the teams. I still think it's going to be a tight contention between Man U and West Ham, which sleekly could be West Ham coming into the fourth spot. I wouldn't be surprised Man U being in the fourth spot as well. Wow. So the last 3 minutes of the stream, score predictions for this game was, Jem already said it's 2-0. You guys as well, let us know of the score predictions in the comment section. My score prediction for this game would be a 2-1, one for Ronaldo probably, because every single time Ronaldo plays, he always gets a goal from somewhere. So probably one for him and then 2 goals for us, which could be from Lukaku, because he got a point to prove against Manchester United. I think he will do that. He did that against in the first game against Arsenal. Of course, he didn't have any point to prove there, but he did that against Arsenal first game. And I think there'll be another goal from Ziyech.
He loves the itch, doesn't he? Yeah,
I do. For Lukaku to score at least one. 4-0. Oh my God. Yeah, Nick say the same in the panel day in GNA TV as well. 4-0 Lukaku score at least one. All right,
didn't
with
say
that,
Rudiger. Surprised he didn't say
I
Rudiger.
guess. Yeah, Nick, you should probably incorporate that as well. Like one for Lukaku and one for Rudiger. Can we like probably take that? I guess it probably goes without saying that he's anyways going to go one for Rudiger.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
with that, we are coming towards the end of the stream. It's been a wonderful conversation with Jem. It's been a 1.5-hour stream with Jem staying in the channel for one entire hour. Love the conversation with Jem. Always informative, and it's very difficult to get a one-on-one conversation with Jem because it's usually not people talking in. So together getting 1 hour was a lot of information for me and probably everyone who's watching the stream. Hamster says 3-0 Reece James, Rudiger, and Lonzo. Yeah, there you go. From Nick Blue. Thanks guys for being in the stream first of all. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. And any last thought, Chem, from your end?
No, just thank you for having me on. Appreciate that. It was a nice little show. Yeah, keep smashing the like button for Sportswire. Try and get them likes up. Subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. And yeah, let's hope Chelsea get the result on the weekend. And we move, mate. We move.
Of course, and pleasure was mine to have you here, Jem. Thank you so much. And with that, we come to the end of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. You all have a good day. Peace out.